Well, hello everyone, this is Gary Jones for the Pentyrch UFO Incident, or what is now referred to as just the Pentyrch Incident. What I'm doing today is I'm going to show you some evidence or information I've collected in other areas of research I've been doing for this fabulous case. I was looking at satellite imagery and weather data stations to see if I could pick up anything that might or might not show something that could be used to describe or understand further what was actually happening that night. Now, I have attempted to try and find some video, satellite images, or radar returns or something of weather stations, but it's quite hard to actually find any real images of something. The only thing I could really find that actually showed Wales or Britain at that particular night was this weather station here, or this weather satellite, sorry, which is in a geostationary orbit. As you can see, it comes up to the day itself, the 26th of February 2016, but there's really nothing you can see here. I have actually put in some Freedom of Information requests, and we'll be getting some response to that in due time. But in the meantime, what I'm going to show you is some rather interesting weather information data, which may or may not prove to be something useful. At this moment, I'm calling it an anomaly, but it's an anomaly that happened right at the time of the main event of the Pentyrch Incident, and that is the appearance of that large triangular pyramid craft which Kaz Clark and, of course, our other witness David saw that night. So let me show you what I've got. Now, before we get to the main part of our video where we look at weather data information, what I want to show you here is NASA Worldview satellite images taken from around the time before, during and after the Pentyrch Incident. Here you can see that Wales is constantly scanned day by day. A satellite comes over and takes images, but from the 19th onwards, you can see here, look, that the 23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and the 27th, and around the 28th, a satellite comes back on. There's no real explanation for this. There's no real possibility that the satellite would be dormant or off for a whole week or just over a week during one of the most important times a UFO event is taking place in Wales. And here you can see, look, these are composites taken from scans. The satellite goes around and around and around, and you end up with something that looks like this. Yeah, the odd day may be missing, or the odd part of it may be missing, but to get a whole week or just over a whole week's worth of images missing around the most important time, for me that was very odd. So I decided to go back into all of this and see what I could find. And as you can see, there's not really much available in terms of satellite images, especially close-up ones where you may or may not see something odd. Maybe it caught something that day, maybe the craft itself I was expecting to be seen. It was a very, very long shot, but I did try it. So, I'm just showing you this to let you know that, I've covered quite a lot of few areas here, and I'm finding some strange anomalies. Okay, so I decided to start checking out some weather data stations and see if I could find information that went back to the very day itself, the 26th of February 2016. And I wanted to go back and forward a couple of days just so that I'd have some comparisons and could show that whether or not this anomaly I have discovered is something that happens anyway at night, or whether or not it had something to do with the actual event. And I'm going to start with this. This is a weather station at Cardiff Airport station. This is where I got it from, Weather Underground. I will make all links available to this so you can check it out for yourself. And as you can see, the date is very clearly written here, February 22nd, 2016. And as I said, this comes from Cardiff Airport Station. And you can see the times here, look, you can see the temperatures in Fahrenheit, this is. Precipitation and obviously wind speeds, of course, and you can go down further into the table and you can see all the numbers listed for certain times, every 30-minute intervals, daily observations of what the dew point was, temperature was, humidity, wind, and so on. And this is going to prove very useful to us as we proceed forward. So I'm just going to start with something very simple. Yes, as you can see, February 22nd, 2016. This is, as I said, Cardiff Airport Station, Barry, Wales. Pentyrch is not too far away. We start at 12 a.m. look, and as you can see, throughout the night, the temperature gets a lot colder. by about, say, I reckon this is about just coming up past 8 a.m. The temperature goes up a little bit, then it goes down a bit, but tends to stay pretty much the same until we start heading into the sundown for that particular time of year. The sun starts to set around 4 or 5 p.m. It gets low to the horizon, so the temperature starts to dip with it, and as you can see, it goes down quite considerably, but there's no noticeable dips or anything. It's sort of a steady gradual thing. So if we go to the 23rd, you can see a similar pattern again. The temperature starts to get colder throughout the night. Then there's that little spike as you head up, look, and the day gets a little bit warmer. And then around the same time, temperature starts to drop as the sun gets lower to the horizon, and temperature goes down with it. And of course, by about 9 p.m., it's totally pitch black, so the temperature really goes down quite significantly. And of course, it's reading 36 degrees Fahrenheit there. So let's take a look at another one. This is now the 24th. The temperature was quite cold for that night. Again, hovering around 36 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And as the sun starts to come up, so does the temperature. And of course, as it starts to go down, there is a sort of like slight rise a bit, but then it just goes right down steadily till, of course, the sun is down again. And you know, this is a steady progression of many things. You can see it, look, cold, it rises a little bit, and then of course, you know, it goes up like 2 degrees Fahrenheit and then drops 2 degrees Fahrenheit. But then of course, around the time the sun's coming up, so of course temperature starts to rise, the sun gets low to the horizon, and it goes down again. Yes, there are variations in this, but it's what's to be expected. And if I go down here, look, again, every 30 minutes or so, you can see that from around 12:20 a.m. throughout the whole night, really, up until about 6:20, the temperature really rises and drops only about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets a little bit colder in the morning at 6:20 a.m., but then starts to warm up to about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, I mean, the wind is consistent. There's no gusts recorded. Pressure stays the same. The humidity changes a few percentage points, but not much. And yeah, this is a very standard, very common type of weather recording you can expect for this time of year in February. Now, as you can see, this is February the 25th, 2016. What I'm going to show you now is something that I've noticed here that's just a little bit odd to all these different kinds of dips and rises. So now we come to, should be the 26th. And I want to draw your attention again that it is February 26, 2016. This is the Cardiff Airport station. This is the Weather Underground look, and I want you to notice something right here. This is 12 a.m. This is 1 a.m. Now this here is roughly around 1:20 a.m. You'll notice that the temperature is reading around 37 degrees according to this map. As you can see, it's in between 36 and 38. And just over about an hour, the temperature goes down, at least according to this temperature here in Fahrenheit, it goes down 5 degrees. This is around 2:20 a.m. This is actually the time. This is actually the time when the pyramid craft is making an appearance. We know that at some point, you know, the military start circling and start taking off just after 1 a.m., sometimes after 12 a.m., but by around 2:20 a.m. they are out in full force. They've got their Chinooks up, they've got their Lynx helicopters up, they've got their Merlin helicopters up, their Apache helicopters up, their C-17s, their Globemasters, their Hercules aircraft. We know the E-3 Sentries and the 2 military spotter planes are there also. There's even talk that some people witness jets, although I've not seen anything on military radar. I would imagine that if they are flying in a covert mission where they don't want to be noticed or tracked on radar, the chances are that you will not find them on conventional radars anywhere, only the military codes that can read them. But look at it. I mean, just look at it. You know, we've got it up to 12 a.m., coming into 1, 1:20 a.m. the temperature just mysteriously dips a good 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it comes back up at around 3:20 a.m. and then just continues on climbing normally and continues to dip normally throughout the rest of the actual day. Now, just to show you something, look, we'll go to the daily observations just so you can see what I'm talking about. 12:20, look, 37. 12:50, 37. 1:20 at 37. At 1:50, according to this, then it's saying 34 degrees, and then it goes down to 32. So it's dropping steadily from 37 to 34 to 32. Then 30 minutes later, it goes up to 34, and then it goes up to 36, and pretty much stays that way throughout the remainder of the day until, of course, the sun is at its highest point and the day is warmest for that time of year. The wind speed has not changed much. I don't believe that the weather was anything different. You can see, okay, it's mostly cloudy, then it becomes fair, and then it goes mostly cloudy again. But I mean, there is this strange temperature dip right in the middle of all this fair condition weather here. And I'm just wondering why that is. I mean, it is just quite a striking coincidence, you could possibly call it that, but I would say it's an anomaly because it's something going on here. You can see, look, again, it's 37, 37, 37 for the whole hour, and then at around 1:50 it drops 3 degrees Fahrenheit. 2:20 a.m. it goes to 32. That's at its coldest point. This is roughly around the time the pyramid is either making an appearance or getting ready to make an appearance. Okay? And then, of course, we know by about this time it's all over. The pyramid, anyway, has disappeared from the Pentyrch fields. And by that point, Kaz, Clark, and David have seen the other two barrels which have come up to them, and one of them turning red to green, shining that light and everything. But, I mean, continuing on through the night, 3:20, look, it goes up to 36 and pretty much stays that way, and as the sun starts to come up it gets a little warmer. So I mean, yeah, what is that all about? Is that just a normal weather phenomena? Is that natural? Is that something you could expect, or is that something linked to the appearance of what many of us now do believe, and what Kaz would say convincingly is an interdimensional craft, because it came into our space. Didn't come from the sky, it didn't come over the mountains, it didn't decloak. It was like it just came through a veil, like a portal or an opening in our space-time, and just, was there for all to see, and yeah, this is a very, very interesting anomaly. Now I'm going to continue on to the 27th. Very interestingly enough, the temperature stays the same throughout pretty much the whole night. There is this dip here, but then it starts to pretty much warm up, and as you can see, it does it in increments, look. And I'm just going to go down to show you again. As you can see, look, 39, 39, 39 all throughout the whole night. It's pretty much the same. I mean, no other day except the 26th, as far as I can tell, is showing this. And if I go to the 28th again, interesting that the whole weather temperature stays the same, and as you'd expect, temperature starts to rise as we go throughout the day. And then if we continue on to the 29th, this is all Cardiff Airport station. Yep, we do get a dip here. We get this. That's pretty much standard there. Interesting though that it gets warmer that night. That could just be because we're probably heading into starting to head into a warmer climate, or there's a bit of a warmer climate coming through. But with exception for the 29th, where we see this dip and rise, only the 26th of February actually shows it, and we have a reason for that. We have a possible reason for that. It's probably something to do, and I'm speculating here, it's an anomaly that cannot be explained away just very quickly. I mean, I do have one idea, if it's a natural thing. Maybe it has something to do with the humidity. You can see here when the temperature starts to dip, look, 32. This is roughly the time here, look, it's just coming around the 1 o'clock mark, 12:50 a.m. You know, the humidity there is 87%. And if I bring us back to what I do believe is the 26, I have to go forward one. I'm just going to show you here, look, just to remind you, there's the anomaly that I've found. Very strange. The humidity, let's have a look here. Yes, there is definitely something going on. Humidity has shot up 17%, from 70 to 87. At its highest is 93, and as we start to warm up again, yeah, it goes to 87, but then it stays pretty much the same throughout the rest of the night. I don't know what to make of that, but I'm going to show you now that Cardiff and the area of Cardiff is the only thing that seems to show this rather strange dip. All other weather stations that I could find for that day that has data on it to be read, to actually be read, this is the only day really that shows this strange, unusual dip. Okay, so in order to find out whether or not this was local just to Cardiff, I had to go on other weather stations, and as you can see here, time and date, past weather in Swansea. I've got quite a few of these weather stations, and as you can see, the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. You'll notice, look, that these are in 6-hour intervals. This one starts at midnight, then it comes to 6 a.m. Then you're looking at 12 a.m. This goes on to evening time at 6 p.m. And then, of course, we start back again at midnight. And as you can see here, look, you can see this line here represents temperature. You can see wind, direction, the highs and low temperatures, look. This one is actually in centigrade. And just to make sure that I had a screen capture of this, you can see, look, that there's the 26th of February, there's the weather conditions. This one here is showing temperature to be, for Swansea, around 5 degrees for that night. So we'll go forward another one. What I really want people to pay attention to is this line here, because that's what we're looking for. This one here is St. David's, Wales. And if you look here, look, this is February 26th. You can see the temperature there. Pretty much high and low throughout that entire night. It was pretty much the same. You can see, look, these ones read in hour intervals. Interesting though that this one says Friday the 26th of February, but when we get to 2 a.m. there, nothing for a full 11 hours until around 1300 hours, which is 1 p.m. I find that a little bit strange because, you know, it's recording everything else by hour. Why would it stop there? And if I just go back and check Swansea, look, yep, you can see Swansea has it hour by hour. So whether that's a glitch or whether that's something that may be or may not be being covered up. So we go to Newtown. And again, there's Friday the 26th of February. You can see all the other temperatures, look. They pretty much stay the same for that particular time period. And if we go down here, this one again is reading till 1 and 2 a.m. I don't know why there's a big gap there. There's at least 10 hours gap. Maybe they stop recording and reset themselves, which is kind of odd. Why would you have a gap in your weather station recordings? But I'll just say, you know, that that's standard for, practice for them right now. And of course, you can see the temperature for that time was 0 degrees. So Newtown was quite cold that night. Okay, this is Holyhead. Here we are again, the 26th of February. You'll notice that we're not seeing these strange dips. That strange dip that we saw for the night. We can see it here, look. You know, for the 29th. So maybe the 29th. You know, a few places did experience that weird dip. But if we go down here... sorry, just went past it. You can see here, look, there's hourly readings. The temperatures are pretty much the same. This is roughly the time we're looking at here. There's no changes between any of them. All right. Yep, this is Holyhead. Again, you can see that... there's the strange dip, look, for the 29th. You know, there's obviously that low temperature and rising temperature look for that time of night. But what I'm interested in is the 26th, because that's when we know something unusual was going on. The Pentyrch Incident, of course. We look here, there's none of that strange line dipping. And as we look for the temperatures, look, again, these ones are in hourly intervals, pretty much the same. Now, I'm looking for Cardiff. We'll get to it soon enough, but I just want you all to see this, all right, because I really want people to know that I've done my homework on this. There's the 26 again. The highest was 3, the lowest was 1. That happened over the space, as you can see, over the course of like a number of hours, because we've got quite a few hours in this little bar here. And if we just go down, we can see 1, 2, there's an interesting gap there again for 3 hours. Why these gaps keep appearing at the time of the Pentyrch Incident? Is somebody actually covering up this incident? Is somebody taking weather data and taking that too? I don't know. I just find that the times that I'm looking for, that's the times when things seem to be missing. That was another thing I noticed when I was researching all this. But now we get to Cardiff. Here we go. And I want you to notice right away that we have, you can see here, a very sharp dip. This is for the 26th of February, look. We start here at around 3, it goes down to 0, and it makes its way back up again pretty quickly. You know, it doesn't mess around there. And if we just go down, look, you know, as you can see, we've got that temperature variance happening there with Cardiff on the 29th. But obviously we have it here, look, where something very quick has happened and it's gone right back up. And as we can see, we have our half-hourly intervals here. At 1:20, it was 3 degrees. At 2:20, it dropped down to 0. And then, of course, it started to climb back up again. It may not seem like much on this one, because degrees, yeah, of course, degrees centigrade and degrees Fahrenheit are measured differently. But I think in terms of how the numbers go up and down, there's not much between them. In terms, like, you know, if it drops 5 degrees in Fahrenheit, it should drop 5 degrees in temperature. So maybe there's a little bit of a thing going on here, but it's interesting, isn't it? And by the thing, I mean, you know, a miscalculation, or they're just rounding it up to the nearest 0 or whatever. And that's just interesting. You know, it drops and then it starts to go back up again. So why is it doing that? I mean, it's not like the barometer reads anything. Humidity, look, yep. The humidity went up and pretty much stayed the same. So, you know, that weather data from the other underground station that I used is correct on that regard. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. And if we just go across again, this is Bangor. As you look for the 26th, look, it's pretty much the same. The highest and lowest temperatures throughout the night were pretty much the same. So yeah, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing for 6 there. Maybe that didn't record, but we've got a good night's worth of stuff there. Humidity is all the same here. So whether it's the humidity that's causing the temperature change, or maybe it's got something to do with the appearance of that large triangular pyramid interdimensional craft that was seen by Kaz and David and a number of other witnesses, of course. Yeah. So this is something of an anomaly. I mean, have I got is that the same one? Bangor? Yeah, that looks the same. This is Aberystwyth, look. Aberystwyth, pretty much throughout the night, highs and lows were pretty much the same. Then the temperature just gradually goes up as the sun starts to come up throughout the day. Again, you can see, look, you know, well, there's a bit of a... So look, there's actually something missing there. It's odd. I mean, why is there so many gaps in these weather stations? I mean, the weather stations for the Met Office and others around this country are pretty meticulous. I mean, they either take hourly readings or they take half-hour readings. I mean, you can find information on quite a number of them. So why is it that we're missing So why is it the most important time that I'm looking for, we've got some sort of a gap? Maybe it's because they reset the machine. Maybe it's because they don't record for that time of night. I don't know, but... You know, for anyone who's a bit of a weather enthusiast and knows a bit about this stuff, maybe you'd like to give me some feedback on all this. Maybe help me understand the anomaly, why the temperature changes so rapidly in Cardiff and not really anywhere else. It's very, very odd indeed. So let's just recap very quickly what I'm trying to get through to you here. The reason I go on quite a bit about all this is because I'm trying to show you that I have looked at other weather stations, I have looked at other weather data, and the only time really I can see some strange anomaly happening here is on the 26th of February 2016, and it's just interesting that over Cardiff Airport station, and of course when we come to time and date weather station data as well, we can see for the 26th there is this strange dip in temperature here around the time of the appearance of the large triangular pyramid craft. There it is again, and if we just go down and check some of the daily observations, look, we can see that temperatures drop significantly around this time and then start to pick up. It is the same. It is the same for this one here. You can see the humidity begins to increase around 150, and then it pretty much stays that way throughout the rest of the night until sunrise. You can pretty much see it here as well. Look, the humidity picks up. So this weather data is correct. The only difference between the two, of course, is temperature. This one's reading in Fahrenheit, the other one's reading in Celsius. So I'm just going to go take a look at that now. So what have we got here? We've got 37 degrees Fahrenheit. That's saying 2.7. According to this, that would be roughly 3 degrees. So yeah, you know, it is roughly 3 degrees to the nearest zero. Then according to 220, it's at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's just take a look at that. Once we get to that, look, if I'm reading this correctly, that's saying roughly minus 1.7. We could say maybe minus 1.5, I think minus 2 we have to convert it to. So I mean, we've got a temperature difference there of around 3 to 4 degrees, dropping down from 1:20 to 2:20 a.m. on the 26th of February 2016, and then going back up, of course, another 3 or 4 degrees just an hour later. I don't know why that is. Is it got something to do with the humidity? Was there a cold snap coming through Cardiff at that time? It's a bit odd to have the Air Force, the military, possibly even the Navy, conducting an exercise for which no government office or military branch or any institution that you would write to asking them to provide information. No local branch of government or emergency service was notified. Nothing. Even the local population did not know what was going on. There were hundreds of calls made to the police. And yet at the same time, we've got a number of people seeing strange UFO anomalies, of course. The biggest of them being Kaz, Clark and David, who saw the large triangular pyramid-shaped object in the field. Around the same time, the temperature is dipping when they're seeing it. And of course, when the pyramids disappear, the temperature starts to go back up again. I mean, you decide for yourself what you want to make of this, but I just think it's very odd. I mean, let's remember now that there was strange snow found in the fields of both Pentyrch and of course in the woods of Smilog. There is videotape for that. It is on our first presentation in Cornwall. I strongly recommend you go and watch that. But yeah, this is something I think warrants further study, investigation, or even just discussion. I mean, yeah, decide for yourselves what's going on here. Why is this happening? I did show some of this information on a previous Facebook post, and someone got back to me with an interesting idea that maybe it's some kind of endothermic thing. And if I understand that correctly, endothermic means that it's drawing energy from the surrounding area, and that may be causing the temperature to also drop because, you know, it's drawing its energy from the atmosphere itself, which may explain, if true, or if there's any truth to it, which may explain why, you know, some UFO sightings, especially some pretty powerful ones, often draw strange weather anomalies not long after they've happened. That may explain it. I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm not saying that's how it works. But, the more I look into this, the more I learn about it. The more I understand about this incredible phenomena, the UFO ET phenomena that we're all trying to understand. So I'll let you decide. As always, make up your own mind. But that's all I've got for this. So thank you all for listening.